Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. Mr. Willy Wonka, the eccentric owner of the greatest chocolate factory in the world, had decided to open the doors of his factory to 5 lucky children and their parents. In order to choose who will enter the factory, Mr. Wonka devised a plan to hide 5 golden tickets beneath the wrappers of his famous chocolate bars. The search for the 5 golden tickets was fast and furious. Augustus Gloop, a corpulent child whose only hobby was eating, unwrapped the first ticket, for which his town threw him a parade. Veruca Salt, an insufferable brat, received the next ticket from her father, who had employed his entire factory of peanut sellers to unwrap chocolate bars until they found a ticket. Violet Beauregard discovered the third ticket while she took break from setting a world record in gum chewing. The fourth ticket was won by Mike TV, who, as his name implied, cared only about television. Charlie Bucket, the unsuspected hero of the book, defies all the odds in claiming the 5th and final ticket. A poor but virtuous boy, Charlie lived in a tiny house with his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bucket, and all 4 of his grandparents. His grandparents shared the only bed in the house, located in the only bedroom. And Charlie and his parents used to sleep on the mattresses on the floor. Charlie used to get 3 spiced meals a day, which was hardly enough to nourish a growing boy. Once a year, on his birthday, Charlie used to get 1 bar of Wonka chocolate, which he used to savor for many months. The Bucket family's circumstances became all the more dire when Mr. Bucket lost his job. But a tremendous stroke of luck befell Charlie when he spotted a raggedy dollar bill buried in the snow. He decided to use a little of the money to buy himself some chocolate before turning the rest over to his mother. After inhaling the first bar of chocolate, Charlie decided to buy just 1 more, and within the wrapping, he found the 5th golden ticket. It was not a moment too soon. The next day was the date with Mr. Wonka had set for his guest to enter the factory. Neither Mr. nor Mrs. Bucket can accompany Charlie to the factory. Mr. Bucket must search for work to put food on the table, and Miss Bucket must care for invalidated grandparents. Magically, Charlie's oldest and most beloved grandparent, Grandpa Joe, sprang out of the bed for the first time in decades. Charlie's lucky find has transformed him into an energetic and almost childlike being. Grandpa Joe and Charlie set out on their adventure. In the factory, Charlie and Grandpa Joe marveled at the unbelievable sight, sound, and especially smell of the factory. Whereas they were grateful towards and respectful of Mr. Wonka and his factory, the other 4 children succumbed to their own character flaws. Accordingly, they were ejected from the factory in mysterious and painful fashion. Augustus Gloop, fallen into the hot chocolate river while attempting to drink it, and is sucked up by one of the many pipes. Veruca Salt, is determined to be a bad nut by bad judging squirrels who threw her out with the trash. Violet Beauregard impetuously grabbed an experimental piece of gum and chewed herself into a giant blueberry. She was consequently removed from the factory. With the hope of being on his beloved television, Mike TV shrinks himself, and his father has to carry him out in his breast pocket. During each child fiasco, Mr. Wonka alienates the parents with his nonchalant reaction to the child's seemed demise. He remained steadfast in his belief that everything will work out in the end. After each child's trial, the Oompa Loompas beated drums and sang a moralizing song about the downfall of greedy, spoiled children. When only Charlie remained, Willy Wonka turned to him and congratulated him for the winning. The entire day had been another contest, the prize for which was the entire chocolate factory which Charlie had just won. Charlie, Grandpa Joe, and Mr. Wonka entered the great glass elevator, which exploded through the roof of the factory and crashes down through the roof of Charlie's house, where they collected the rest of Bucket family.